Yu-Gi-Oh is a game about aesthetics. Just look at the king of games himself and tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead, I'll wait. As such, a strong incentive to choosing a deck is the aesthetics of the archetype. This is especially true for me since I love to try and make jank as viable as possible. A bad deck can get away with a lot if it has a good aesthetic. So while you get your nap on or get some chores done, I'm going to give you a mellow top 10 favorite archetype aesthetics. Honorable mention, Blue Eyes. Unfortunately, I do have to hand it to the Yugi boomers. The Blue Eyes White Dragon is one of the coolest looking things ever invented. Kazuki Takahashi made this guy the rarest card in all of Duel Monsters for a reason. It just looks so cool. His design for the Blue Eyes feels both distinctly unique and yet extremely dragon. The pearlescent armor plating, the piercing blue eyes, and of course the white lightning are all incredibly striking images that really helped Yu-Gi-Oh stand out in the early 2000s. Then you fuse 3 of them together to make a 3-headed version of that same concept? Just incredible stuff. King Ghidorah is one of the coolest kaiju ever. The closer you come to that, the better. There's a reason my childhood deck was just a bad Blue Eyes deck made from a Kaiba structure deck. I also like that there's just a whole religion surrounding this one dragon and the girl that ancient Egypt Kaiba fell in love with. Also, the self-insert Kaiba card is peak, I don't care. I do gotta ask though, what country is Dictator of D the dictator of? I also want to shout out Red Eyes real quick. That childhood deck of mine was also a Red Eyes Darkness Dragon Turbo deck from the Dragon's Rage structure deck. It was a very bad deck. Red Eyes takes what's great about Blue Eyes and says, what if we made an equal and opposite dragon? And while the power level of later support failed to hit that mark, the aesthetic certainly does. I will always adore the classic Yu-Gi-Oh dragons. Now someone give me a few $100s so I can get the SH Monster Arts figures of them. Number 10. Vampire. This one seems almost obligatory. Of course I like the vampire cards, Camula's my cousin. I think though that something holding them back is the lack of consistency. This archetype is so old that the cards run the gamut of various Yu-Gi-Oh art styles. Additionally, while I like that the vampires have flavorful effects, they kinda have too many, and they refuse to stick to any one. They can turn the opponent's monsters, they tribute summon the lords over their thralls, they make the opponent bleed cards out of the deck, they make you bleed life points in order to play them. It's all flavorful, but not exactly synergistic, and the bleeding thing is actually super inconsistent. Who's supposed to be bleeding here? That's why Vampire Ghost has to do 10 million things to make the deck function at all. Number 9. Dino. I love dinosaurs. I was a big dinosaur kid growing up. Very neurotypical about it, I assure you. My favorite is Therizinosaurus, it's got funny claws. Dinosaurs is actually the deck I came back to the game with, and the aesthetics here are so nice. Big scary dinosaurs, what more could you need honestly? Ultimate Conductor Tyranno has to be one of the coolest looking boss monsters in the entire game. I love that they work as an aggro deck too, really fits the vibe. The only reason this isn't higher is because as a type instead of an archetype, there's a lot of cards in here, and some of them are kinda lame instead of cool. Looking at you, Hyper Hammerhead. Number 8. Speedroid. Everyone loves toys, but what if those toys moved at 1,000,000 miles an hour and were here to kill you? That's what I love about Speedroid. Funny little toys that are moving so fast and are violent little creations. Everyone loves Terror Top, right? Then you get their boss monsters, the Clear Wings, and my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card, Crystal Wing. I love dragons, as established earlier, but these super fast mech dragons amplify that a lot. And how can you look at Crystal Wing and not adore him? The one thing keeping Speedroid down in this list is that there's not a lot of connective tissue between the aesthetics of the Speedroids and the Clear Wings. They feel like an odd pairing actually. Number 7. Shad. This one's for the dolls. Who doesn't love haunted dolls frankly, especially my girl Winda. Look at her, she's so precious. Oh, sorry, yeah, you only get one special summon now, my bad. I love that you can see the strings on all the Shadows leading up into the shadows. Also, it's crazy that Construct is so huge. Everyone loves a giant woman. These guys might be evil creatures in the lore, but this ain't a lore channel, go over to Golden Nova for that. I just adore them for who they are on my funny cardboard rectangles. We also love any attempt to make flip monsters relevant here. The fact these guys had meta relevance for such a long time, despite being flip monsters, makes it all the better. Number 6. Live Twin. Live Twin is a combination of VTubers, of which I am one, and Phantom Thieves, no comment on whether I'm one of those. What's not to love about that? Leela and Kiss-a-Kill are both really cute, and Trouble Sunny are pretty cool too. I love their alt arts, I made sure to pick them up while I was in Japan. It's very funny that this deck is technically 2 archetypes separated by an anagram. Live Twin for the VTuber cards and Evil Twin for the Phantom Thief cards. It's also super cool that they made the different costumes for their VTuber models into separate cards. As a VTuber myself, I love alternate outfits. I used to do photo shoots in outfits I found on Booth. Seeing that represented in the Halloween Leela and the Christmas Kissicle is just so nice. I love the art style on the VTubers too, they're just such perfect little gremlins. My favorite thing though has to be all the fun cards and the spells and traps. These girls are up to some incredible hijinks, including my favorite live twin card, Leela Rap, where Leela raps. Referencing VTubers rapping is so fucking funny because most of them are so bad at it. I also love how this card makes the opponent pay life points and then gives you half of those life points, referencing the cut that Twitch and YouTube take of the money you make from tips and subs. Remember to support me on Patreon, by the way. The live twins are just such a funny archetype, a perfect parody of VTubers. Number 5. Evol. As Charles Darwin once said, everyone loves evolution. These cards sacrifice their chance of being an actually good deck to create some of the most delightfully themed cards in the game, giving Yu-Gi-Oh! A little taste of the Pokemon magic, breaking on your evolutions. Every stage of the Evols looks so cool, especially the see-through DNA tail they all have. These guys don't just look cool and have good theming though, they also have cool frames. Look behind the lizard on the screen, observe the molecules and digital background. And that's right, these guys are digital dogs with interesting background details as they evolve. Their best trap card even features digital glitches. They just look so cool. I love them. I will break them someday. Number 4. Malice. Speaking of digital glitches, how about Digital Alice in Wonderland? I will say this one loses some points for the English localization of Malice. I love the upside down A a lot, but to be fair, it's a pain for search engines, so who can say if it was a bad idea to remove it? Despite that though, this archetype has its aesthetic down to a science. Everyone loves fucked up and twisted versions of Alice in Wonderland, and making them digital is such an interesting twist. I love that the Cheshire Cat is a hacker, it's a perfect fit. Her virus she installs with a cute laughing image, that classic hacking trope, it's just a simply inspired combination. Look at this card art and tell me you don't adore it. I'll destroy you if you do. Number 3. Fluanderes. Please don't hate me for this one, but I love Flu. These funny little birdies are one of my favorite decks, and part of it is their chill art style. The soft fuzzy line work, the texture, and the little doodles in the sky, plus the scrapbook-like drop shadows on the birds themselves, all come together for a perfect aesthetic. It's just so cozy. I want to snuggle up inside each and every one of them. Watching these guys journey and meet so many other birds is just so nice. I also love that their effect involves them flocking back to the hand every turn, really gives a migratory bird feel to them. Just the color palette on these guys alone is enough to earn these birds a slot in this list though, but the whole package gets them right behind. Number 2. Mimig. That's right, there's 2 recent examples of archetypes on here. These are probably the most interesting TCG exclusive to come out in quite some time, on both the gameplay and aesthetics front. As a big Freerin head myself, this is the perfect time for an entire archetype of Mimics to come out of the dungeon work. This colorful cast of treasure chests are all full of an adorable art style with nice chunky line work that I adore. They're very flavorful too, as they present themselves to the opponents face down to be revealed by them and then trap them in terrible consequences. These funny little guys just have a nice spooky aesthetic and a fresh cartoony art style. But they're ever so slightly beat out on that exact niche by number 1, Ghost Trick. I love Halloween. I adore Halloween. It's my favorite month because I celebrate it all October. Ghost Tricks are Halloween personified. They're spooky and horror themed, but also harmless and cute at the same time. There's a reason I'm always desperate to make these cards work despite their confused playstyle. I'm the number 1 Ghost Trick expert, as declared by MBT himself, so you know that I'm the real deal. I just adore these spoopy little guys. Look at Ghost Trick Festival. Look at it. It's gotta be one of the cutest card arts in Yu-Gi-Oh! Period. Every field spell is an adorable celebration of all things Halloween, and that just makes me happy. While the deck isn't really good enough to even consider playing, I definitely like to collect these cards so I can look at them and get a taste of Halloween at any time of year. So there you have it, my top 10 favorite archetype aesthetics. What do you think of all these choices? What would you include on your top 10? Let me know down below, rest well, and I'll see ya in the next one. Bye. Hey there, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got a lot more for you if you want them. Just hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications. I'd also appreciate if you left me a like and a comment and maybe shared the video around with your friends. You can also follow me on all the usual social media sites. Just check out my website in the description below for more info. My videos are funded by my patrons and YouTube members, whose names you'll see scrolling by in these credits here. For just $1 a month, you too can find yourself here, trapped in my end screen for all eternity. In particular, I'd like to thank Haru Hayes, Fleakill, Frog Prince Michael, and Jeremiah Coatney. A big thanks to all my other patrons and to my little community as a whole. Remember to be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and have a wonderful whatever time it is for you. Bye. Sleep well.